Hey, this is Ace the Real IntellectualRadio.com. Another perspective, and I got my ride or die to the side.
You already know it is your boy, your 100K, Mr. Let's Talk About It.
You already know.
Thank y'all for tuning in to another perspective on IntellectualRadio.com, one of the dopest talk shows in the city.
You dig.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We deucing it today. So
Mhm.
shouts out to Maurice and Chris. You know what I'm saying? All love. But what we got to say today, 100K, is on you today, baby.
It's on me playing.
Yeah, you might as well go ahead and crack the whip.
I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to another great show. So I guess we can start off with the election.
Yes, sir.
Since we're in
Yes, sir.
the election process, I haven't been heavily too involved in what politicians are running for what, but I hope everyone get out there and get a chance to vote to have their say so in terms of the direction that our city is going in. The last mayor and governor that's in there now haven't really been doing a
Nothing.
great job in terms of inner city needs and inner
Right.
city resources. I think a lot of our resources was directed elsewhere in terms of CTA reconstructions and building that basketball training facility for
For
well, DePaul.
DePaul. Yep.
What was it? It was like $5 billion that was supposed to been re-injected into the inner city, and the mayor
And
just took it and did what he wanted with it, huh?
he ran. He ran. Now, since we're talking about that,
Let's talk about it. You ready
let's
too?
talk about it. Be about it. Let's talk about it. Now, let me tell you something.
Mhm,
One thing I want y'all to understand:
mhm,
voting is very important these days.
mhm,
You have to vote. Don't start crying and complaining if things don't swing the way it's supposed to swing because your vote count. If
mhm,
you don't think your vote count, it does. It counts for everything that goes on. Right now, we're at the time. You know what I'm saying? You see our president, he's racist. He got military going to up guns and barbed wire on these people that's trying to come to a free state. I understand that. That's another conversation.
mhm,
But voting for our health care, voting for the right to choose, voting for gay rights, Black Lives Matter, Latino Lives Matter, Asian people, lives matter. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you think he's trying to do for his Republicans. They trying to ice us out and put us back to Jim Crow. So the best thing for you to do is go to the polls and y'all fight for your rights. Let's start electing people that's gonna fight for us, not the other way around. You
mhm.
get into them pastors, them churches that's in them neighborhoods that's taking them backdoor deals and telling them to spread the wealth in the community. Make sure community come first. You live education, the whole nine.
Mhm,
That's what we voting
mhm,
for our stability. You can go out to them suburbs, they got state of art schools. I know a lot of y'all don't want certain schools tore down. I understand that. Well, get into your alderman's behind and tell her to put some of that money that's in her ward that she get from Rahm Emanuel
mhm.
on a monthly stipend for your neighborhood or for the ward and put it into them schools. I don't care if it's 100,000, 200,000. Spread it out, grammar schools and all, so y'all can see that y'all thinking about the people, us, the ones that vote. Now, y'all have to do y'all due diligence. I don't care who you vote for, just go vote. We got more young folks voting more than the adults are, but
Mhm.
I hear mostly the adults are whining and crying and complaining about what ain't being done because you won't get your lazy. I want to say something
Mhm.
else, but get your lazy stuff up and go to the polls. You got your voters registration card. You're a citizen. We had millions of people died for this situation right here today. So whatever y'all do, go vote.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You always want to have a voice and change. And I think in terms of voting for the next alderman of your ward in your community is just as important as putting people in a position of power when you're looking at governor and mayor. I think if the change, as long as you have people in your community that is controlled by greed and power and things
Mhm.
like that, then
And them
no.
token Negroes.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
talk about
yeah,
that
yeah.
too.
So you got a lot of them, like all of them that didn't stand up for the
For
Laquan.
McDonald,
Yeah,
all of them need to go.
all of them need to go. I think we need to start even a certain ourselves. I know certain people think you have to have like a college background. Like, if you understand politics, if you understand the game, if you understand what the community needs, and if you're going to be there and want to assert that amongst the community,
Hmm.
then assert yourself as a front runner.
Hmm.
I think it's more easy to believe and get behind somebody that we lived next to or grew
Hmm.
up the same way we did, or that we can relate to more so than people that's easily manipulated by greed and money and wealth and things like that. People who are afraid um, to go at the system or put the needs of their own before the needs of the people. And I see a lot of that today. We have a lot of politicians and things like that. Me, honestly, I haven't voted yet. I'm going to look into the politicians and things that are running
Yep.
for each runner and see where educate myself before I just go out there and cast a vote. You know,
Hmm.
I see a lot of ass Prisker and
Yeah.
things like that, but he has something to do with old boy who they got up out there and locked up.
Yeah, Blagojevich.
McGoy,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
got
was a
him.
rat. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
they got
saying?
him on phone calls. So how you talking about you out here fighting
And
and
then you
you?
got that, one of those polling places. People came out, African Americans, Spanish, anybody that was of not white descent.
Mhm,
This one ward had a polling place or whatever that was actually campaigning for Pritzker,
mhm,
and they came out with a lawsuit saying that they was discriminated against. Not only
mhm,
that, from what I heard, um, Pritzker was with some of these black pastors in the back room, and brothers bust in.
yeah, they said that. I saw the video on you
So
on
on
Facebook.
Facebook, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna call names that was in that meeting because they some of them is my associates. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? I'm not gonna say their name. But the thing is, stop doing all that back door, behind the scenes, and be transparent.
yeah.
If you for the people, be for the people. Don't sit here and get in front of the cameras and say, okay, we're gonna help blacks. But then at the same time, you calling me a nigga behind the back door.
Yeah.
Back door. I don't get out like that,
You
you
know
know?
what? You know what, Ace? That's one thing I never understood. You have these religious figures that's supposed to be staples in the black community, especially from the perspective of spirituality and God. And and these are the people that you go to every Sunday.
Hmm.
You put money in a basket, even though that money don't get to God. You put money in the basket. You go hear them. You preach the word. You look for them for faith, for directions, and everything like that. And these the same guys that is behind the back door using their influence,
Hmm.
saying, "Hey, I have a delegate or a church base of this many people. I can influence them to make this decision." If because
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's what
Right.
that
Just
back
like
door
my
meet
boy say,
was.
say,
Mhm,
Robert Allen Maldonado,
mhm,
DJ, you already know. He say, follow the money. These mofos are suspicious. All of them suspicious
yeah.
because you got to understand they milking money from from government for the president and whoever they got where they can get these state fundings and the
Mm,
federal fundings and all of that. Okay, I don't care about all that. At the end of the day, instead of y'all pockets getting fat and y'all going on lavish trips and using our money, to use certain planes and this and that and the third, and you see them every day caught up on conspiracy charges, money laundering charges. Okay, if we tired of that, I'm tired of that. Okay, first thing first, we put somebody in office that's gonna hear us, that's gonna fight for us. First, find a person that actually struggled like us, that know the pain like us, that been through 3 meals in a maybe 1 or 2 meals out of a week, a big meal. We all peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying? People that actually understand, that lived our lives, walked our walk, talked our talk. Them are the people that you get behind, because at the end of the day, they already know the struggle. But at the same time, you got to camera check them too. Don't get there and then forget about the little people that got you there.
Yeah, if you look at, I think it was between the 80s all the way up into now, the black church, I think the last report said they had grossed over $4 trillion between the 80s and up until now, or even before that. And you look at what has $4 trillion gone, because it definitely hasn't been put back into the redevelopment of the black community.
Right.
I see a lot of churches turning into stadiums, and things like that, but I don't see the redevelopment of the black community. And another thing I want to say is that it's crazy. It just boggles my mind, for these men of supposed to be men of faith and men of God, to go back in a back room and just kind of put your vote up for a price tag.
Like a price tag.
Yeah, and I want to say this: it's the reason why Larry Hoover will never get released.
Or Jeff Ford.
Or Jeff Ford, or anybody. And it's the reason why a lot of them was either locked up or gunned down.
Right.
Because if you look, and I think it's Larry Hoover is a threat to the system, because the power that he had back then is even stronger now. If he get released, then you have black communities, nations all over the world that will get behind and stand behind that brother
and give him that money.
And he's a political prisoner, not a gang member.
Right.
We're not talking about gangster disciples. We're talking about growth and development. He built an army. They started off as gangs. And gangs usually, over a period of time, turn into what? Organizations. And that's what he had. And by him having 20, 30,000, 40, 50,000 members that stretch across not only the United States, we're talking about all over here in Europe. He would have had the black vote. He would have stripped any white person or any person that was outside of our race. He would have prevented them from getting that vote. And still will. And still will. If you look at the things that they did for the community breakfast program, and that's long before schools was even doing this stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of brothers that we need to lead the charge. But we're in the day and age where, if you look at over the years, what happened to Malcolm, if you look at what happened to Martin,
Huey,
that instills fear.
Yeah.
And most our black leaders are nowhere to be found, because they rather fear the enemy than go against them.
Right. And I've been listening to certain commercials of JB and the other people.
Yeah.
And when I hear that they said, he was talking to Blagojevich, and Blagojevich was saying, if you forced to the African American in office, you want to get the one that's least offensive. What you mean by that?
Wow.
What you mean that is less offensive? We are lesser. The people that speaks their mind, them the ones that you don't want. Maybe you're in fear of what's gonna come out my mouth about you and your administration and how y'all conducting business without adding African Americans. I wanted to side note this one. I was listening to Daryl Denard early morning on Sundays.
Talk about it.
You know, they call it Chicago Speaks.
Okay.
And this one brother got on the radio and he was saying that the same thing I'm saying. We started, people were saying, why should I vote? You know what I'm saying? People say, well, my vote don't count. Oh, yeah, your vote do count. But he was saying your vote will count if you vote the people that you don't want in there. Vote them out. And the people that you voting for, do your research about them. They got we on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything. We all on these nets. But we can't go to Google and Google the background of all these people that's running for office and see. I don't care about how many PhDs you got, how many masters, the doctorate. If you don't feel the voters' pain when you go out in the street, go door to door. You know what I'm saying? Go sit on that block that's having problems, and have a town hall meeting or a community meeting.
Yeah.
Even if you got to go, if you got 30 blocks in your ward, at least every 10 blocks, you send out a leaflet and get it where they don't have to drive far. We finna have this town hall meeting just for these blocks, and then we're gonna do the other ones until we do the whole entire award and get some of the things that these people are complaining about. And then you go out there, if you got to go in there unmarked or just go out there, you're an alderman. You should never be afraid of your community at all, regardless of how bad or how good it is. You get out there, you take a tour by yourself and see. Sit back somewhere and see how people rotate and what's lacking and what you need or what we strong in but weak in. You know what I'm saying? You get involved with that. Then once you do all of that, then you pick and choose sides who you want. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. Vote. You know what I'm saying? And vote for the people that's going to fight for your needs. Then he said, get people that's in office where we're going to put this reparations back up. Where's our payment out? Yes, Jews have got it. Asians have got it. Indians have got it. You got some certain nationalities that comes to America and gets citizenship. You got certain banks that will give them grants so they can be able to get on their feet and they have a low interest rate of paying that back. Where's our just due? Because we built America.
You know what? I agree with everything you just said, but it has to be genuine. It can't just be around election time. And a lot of time you see these aldermen, you only see them around election time. And then other than that, they don't even live into the communities that they're aldermen for. They come to work, they leave work, they go right outside of the community. And so how you going to be an alderman to a community if you don't stay in that community and know what's going on? Two, in terms of reparation, and I'm gonna make this because if you look at all of the groups that have gotten that reparation, the Jews, you can track their lineage back to a place, to a continent, right? Even with the Japanese, when dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, you could track them back to Japanese. Since we use a term or identify us as something that we're not, our blacks, where did blacks come from? Do the term black even exist?
Right.
Do the term African American even exist? Is it real? So what I'm saying is that's one of the reasons why we haven't got the reparation. You could track the Jews. You could track their lineage back to um, over into the Middle East.
Uh-huh.
Well, the Jewish. Well, they're not really the,
You
but
know.
we won't get in there. But you can track their lineage back to a landmass. Japan, you can track their lineage back to landmass. Since we were, since as far as who we are as whether you want to call us Black African American, whether you want to call us Moors, Aboriginals, even Indians, or
Uh-huh.
however, we have to figure out who we are as a people,
Right.
where we come from, because a lot of us think we came from Africa.
Uh-huh.
That's not the case. If
Right.
you go back and look at some of the old Indian pictures of the people that was here prior to the white man getting here, they look just like
Like
us.
us.
They have the same skin as you.
Right. Right. And I understand that.
Mm.
I really do. My boy Rob say we need to lead our households. All all we don't need criminals to get our homes in order. Talk sense, bro.
Mm.
We need to be fathers. I've been said that, but at the same time, I'm talking about. You got to understand this. One thing about me, I'm gonna come from a street perspective.
Mhm.
I'm gonna come from a common sense
Let's
perspective.
talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? First of all, you got a lot of people that don't even listen to father, mother, and they did listen to that one man or follow his leadership or whoever who runs these great nations. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
They had somebody to lead them to where they at today or give them the idea of where they is today. Okay, yes. First and foremost, we supposed to check our households. We supposed to be men of our household, mothers and fathers at the same time. But we talked about this where it was a separation between child and father because of the situation the adults was going through. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
And they forgot about the kids' feelings and what the kid need. You know what I'm saying? But when you have adults acting like kids and the kids is looking at that, then that's what makes them think it's okay. You know, if they say if the mother and father was fighting all the time, calling each other names and everything like that, them kids are gonna follow that lead because they're sponges, first and foremost. So when they do get out in the street, now I'm not saying everybody
Mhm.
was for you in the streets.
Mhm.
That's why you had to pick and choose who you talk to. You know what I'm saying? Even when we was young, even the drunks was spitting education and fire at us.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Even them gang leaders, he knew something in you that this wasn't for you.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, stay over there. Slow down. What you doing? Get upstairs. Them are the original role models before we even think about what's going on television. The people in our community, the adults back then that got me to where I'm at today, that's why I pay homage, the good, the bad, and ugly, because it taught me a way of life and experience certain things. And when you see certain things, how you handle it. And yes, we got in an emotional state. Sometimes we got in a mental state. But at the end of the day, I'm not facing 50 years to life. I have my struggles, but I'm able to work. I got all my limbs. God gave me a heart to pump. I am a sound body man. I'm not perfect, and I'm not where I need to be, but I'm comfortable where I'm at because I know if I'm comfortable where I'm at, I can strive to get better than where I'm at today. See, you got to look at it for what it is, because everybody that wasn't born with a silver spoon in their mouth.
You know what? You know what, Ace? I can concur with that. If I look at me now and back when I was younger, I watched far less TV back then than I
I do
do now.
now.
I watch. I can say I probably watch way too much TV now.
Right.
But back in the day when I was growing up, when we didn't have the internet, we didn't have social media, and when we
Cable.
came in the house, it was probably 6 or 7, and that was to watch some of the main TV shows that aired in prime time. Other than that,
Cosby
we
Smith
was
show.
out. Yeah, we was out 90% outside 90% of the day, and you did find wisdom in the drunk because they will tell you, don't end up like me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be an example of what you
You
don't
should
want to
going to be
be.
exactly.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what I'm saying. I mean, I met shooters,
Mm,
educated shooters.
mm,
You know, the people shot drugs right in, be in oh,
mm,
I'm dying, I'm dying. But as soon as they get that liquid in them,
mm,
boom,
mm,
they can tell you, they can recite poems, they can recite your boy what Socrates and all of this. You know what I'm saying? They can
mm.
tell you every note on a horn or a guitar.
Smart,
Smart, but they
smart.
got caught up in
Call.
caught up in their own demise when the drugs was heavy. Yes,
Mm.
and they used to tell us, you don't want to feel this.
Yo, my rest in peace to my uncle Donnie, and man, my uncle Donnie, he used to always, man, don't end. He used to always tell us, don't end up like me. And I saw them drunk. I saw them when they was on drugs,
Uh-huh.
leaning on fences and things like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
And when you getting access to that type of imagery at that early age, you have a choice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have a choice to say, you know what? Nah,
Uh-uh.
that's not me.
Oh,
I ain't.
they wanted you to see those people presented that stuff in front of you,
Mm,
so you have an option,
mm,
whole or fold.
mm,
Okay, if you see me, this is what you don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? Because I fell in, and believe me, I met dope fiends. They hit they degrees in bags. Don't get it twisted because I'm on drugs that I got this and got that, but they got caught up in that dream and that fixed. And right now it's time for us, the people that's left that still got a sound body that been through the
mm,
struggle. That's what I'm saying. We have to put people in office that actually
stands.
understands, feel.
Mm,
We don't want handouts. We want avenues.
yeah.
You
It,
see what I'm saying?
I would say this. I think my brother wife's mother brother. My brother's wife, mother's brother, right?
Mm.
If I can recall this correctly, um, was a drug addict. Never completed grammar school,
Right.
but was super intelligent.
Right.
He will program computers with his high head tilted back, eyes closed, typing. Built his own processes. He went up in I forgot what college it was and took the dean test. Not a day of grammar school and passed it. And they wanted to hire him.
With no background.
No background, no grammar school, not. He took the dean's test
Wow. So that
and
was
and
that.
aced it. And
It,
he was that
it's
goes
self
to
taught.
I don't know what it was. The
Mm.
man was just a natural
Genius.
genius. And that goes to show that, and I've seen many people that would kind of assume that if they're drunk, that's on drug. I have conversation with many people. I had some people in my family. I had some
Mm.
people who was friends of the family like that. That was just that if you go into their background, you were like, well, how you get like this? Just choices,
Yep.
wrong decisions.
They'll say
And
it
it's
wrong.
something that they don't regret.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And my uncle used to tell me, he said, if I could do it all over, he would, or if he can change some things. But he understood what the choices and decisions that he made that put him in a position that he was in. But he always say, hey, look at the choices that I made in my life.
Mm.
Don't make the same.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And from a black family perspective, um, it's war. It's been war on the black family for generations and generations.
Right.
If you look at Section 8, offering Section 8 to the mother, but she can't bring
The
the
daddy.
daddy. All this is systemized, systematic to keep the black family broken up because we're stronger together than we are apart, and we have to start rebuilding that. Not only from that, but even from black men marrying black women. It used to be more prominent back in the day. Now it's like you know,
very far and
it's
few.
very far and few in between. And then you got a lot of black men who choose other cultural women's over our own. And we always look at our women and say, well, we got these issues with them and that issues and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's if you look at the white man in every other race and why they do the things is they do, it's about sustaining
Mhm.
their race, their people. And you if you look at the extent they go to do that, or even to prevent our race, which
Mhm.
can procreate faster than any other race on this planet,
Right.
from out, you know what I'm saying,
Right. I
from,
hear where you come
you know what I'm
from.
saying, from outdoing them, in terms of, because our black men and black women, we produce children at a mass rate. We the only race on this planet
Uh-huh.
that can procreate with any other race and create our own.
Right.
You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
if
sir.
if 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 a black man have sex with a white woman, that baby is black.
Right.
If a white man have sex with a black woman, that baby is black.
Uh,
A white man will have to have sex with, you see what I'm saying?
yeah.
We the only race on this planet that can do that.
Right.
That's another reason why we're such a large threat, and we have to think about that. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying, to sustain
And
ourselves.
so the thing is that you know what it is. People are intimidated because they know once we get to a point where
Hmm.
we can spread our wings,
Hmm.
they know we're powerful. You know, I didn't experience that on my job. You
Hmm.
know, I experienced it in the street. Hell, sometimes I experience with my own culture. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, right now at this time, I don't need black enemies.
Facts. Talk
I
about
don't
it.
need no black
Talk
enemies
about it.
because my people is who I am.
Yeah.
They the same shade as me.
Mhm.
We come from basically the same type of background. Some
Mhm.
highs, some lows. I'm not complaining. So I don't need black enemies. What I need is more black love and more respect from our people. And we as mid-age, I'm gonna say mid-age adults, my age, start checking these little young punks, catch them before they go get the bangers, snatch them up. At the same time, you got to be able to break them and build them back to where they're supposed to be. Because at the end of the day, these kids and these young men's, and I'm gonna stop saying kids all the time
Mhm.
because they're not kids. A lot of them come to me, man, why you be calling us kids? Okay. Young adults and these teenagers. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna give it their
Mhm.
title of what it is. Young ladies, these young adult ladies and these young adult men. Okay, since you don't want to be called a kid, act like you're a young adult.
Mhm.
Certain things that you used to do when you was a child, you shouldn't be able. We shouldn't have to tell you when you're on the school bus.
Yeah.
Once you quiet it down,
Yeah.
why is you using that profanity? And you
Yeah.
see moms up there in the front.
Yeah.
Because when you see an elderly, that's grandma Dukes or mama Dukes. I don't care who she is. Like I said, I don't need enemies, but if in fact I had some, I'm not gonna disrespect their elders. You see what I'm saying? Because one thing they're gonna say, "Oh, I was on a bus with that old ace. He made sure them kids kept their mouth closed, cussing like that." And that's gonna ring a bell in his head. Hey man, he had that much respect for my granny, knowing me and him beefing, not to let them kids cuss. So
Mhm.
now that's a plus. Now instead of me and him squaring off at each other, we starting off slow. What's up?
Yeah.
Giving you the chin. Then after a while, somebody ego gonna drop, and then that's when you have an adult discussion.
Mm. I mean, I think I said this on a previous show before, that in terms of community, man, if I look back in the day, man,
Hmm.
you from the whole. I'm
Right.
pretty sure you knew everybody from all the buildings.
Every last one of them.
I was on the low end. I come out. If I look in any direction, I can tell you who live in what from house to house.
Well,
Man, I step out on the block now. I don't know nobody around me.
because that's what it is. We don't
I don't know.
communicate.
I don't know nobody around me. Like, it's and it was so different back in the day. You
Because
know what
you
I'm
know why
saying?
people, I'm gonna tell you the truth. people when I say late 80s,
Mhm.
late 80s.
Okay.
It used to be a time that your parent can go to another parent and say something to them about him or her child
Hmm.
without a resistance.
Exactly. Talk about it.
You know what I'm
Talk
saying?
about it.
Back then.
Yeah.
And sometimes back then,
Mhm.
both parents can, toe you up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm king got my ass whooped. I'm gonna just keep it real. Believe me, I ain't get all these knots from some on the street. It was family and friends, and people stepped into me.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, now it got to a point. Don't say nothing to my son. At first, my son didn't do that. He was here, knowing you lying. What you lying? Lying for your child for?
Yeah.
How you know what he done when your back is turned? First and foremost, never underestimate a child because they're gonna do something because they figure they can get away with it.
Yeah.
When a child is raised in a criminal minded household, he's gonna have criminal minded thoughts, and after a while, he's gonna be making criminal minded acts.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But if you was even if it was a single family, and one thing Mom Dukes, stressed in our house, keep our house clean,
Mhm.
and do your homework. Hey, that's something to build on because at the end of the day, if she was so much into you, getting on you about doing your homework, getting your grades to a certain level where you can go to college or win your scholarship or whatever the case may be, just
Mhm.
finish school.
Yeah.
Now it's to a point where these parents not is hiding the kids from the school.
Yeah.
I ain't taking them to daycare. It start off in daycare first.
Mhm.
I ain't taking them to daycare.
Mhm.
Especially if they was getting them babysitting checks, they'd try to play that number. We know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when you have to put them in daycare, you say, I ain't taking them. I don't feel like it today. And then after a while, he get in kindergarten. It's snowing too bad. I ain't taking him out today. And then, he ain't got his boots. But then you want to get mad at daddy because daddy ain't buy him no. You see all that conspiracy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that kid is lacking the understanding, the education, and the love and the respect that he's supposed to get from mother and father equally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. 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 Definitely, man. I just wish it can. I just wish sometimes it can go back. I know we got to move forward, and you can't move forward by living in the past. But like, uh, the direction I see we're going in is just more segregated amongst our own people.
Yeah.
So
Even by pay grades. You got to understand it's
yeah.
even by pay grades. You have, if anybody making up under 30,000 a year, he poor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anybody over 47,000 or 50,000 a year, that's considered middle class.
Yeah.
But anybody that's making 100,000, now it's to the point anybody making 50,000 is poor.
Hmm.
Now anybody that's making over 120,000, that's middle class. Anybody that's making higher than 225,000 a year, that's the privilege. I call it privilege.
Yeah.
Because you're not rich, because you still got the more money you make, Uncle Sam take, and you want to live
Mhm.
outside your means. So you basically middle class when you got bills. You
Yeah.
feel me?
Yeah. Uncle Sam,
Yeah, he
hey,
gonna get his
he
cut.
gonna get his cut.
You know
He
what I'm
gonna
saying?
get his cut
But here
regardless.
it is, you got billionaires sit up there in your face. I ain't paid taxes in 20 years. But let us do that. The feds will be at our door, be ready to lock us up and give and talk about tax evasion. But they find loopholes in the law of the federal taxes, and they use that as a channel in a way for them not to pay taxes. That's why I'm gonna say it again. You have to get out and vote. You know what I'm saying? You got a president that's got a dictatorship type of agenda.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When he was running for office, when he was running, he said African Americans they need to jump on board. What they got to lose? You telling us in the door you don't give a flying hoot about us. Now you had your little cronies Mike Tyson, he was a Trump supporter. You know what I'm saying? But here it is, the little dudes in the ghetto is one of the people that looked up to you as a role model because you come from their area. You struggle like them, but then when you get to a point where you making a lot of money, not for yourself because you was so illiterate, they was taking your money, if I'm
Yeah.
correct. But okay, so you just start putting Mike Tyson on our
Exactly.
track. At first, you was just doing X because you can read. So
Yeah.
don't sit here and use your fame now to belittle Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Now you don't want to be part of the political parties, in a political life now. You say you're going to stay to yourself, but then you endorse the sister here in Illinois that the sister that be on the commercial, I forgot her name, but I think she's running for attorney general.
Attorney General.
Yeah, he then gave her $120,000 for her campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but she was just in front of Trump. I like this guy. I love you. And he said, I hate that I put you in this position. That
Who's that?
means,
Ye?
huh?
You talking about Ye?
Yeah. When he tried to hug Trump, he said, I love this guy. He said, I'm sorry that I put you in this position. That was the first thing came out of Trump.
Wow.
So that tell me that when he said that was a subliminal message, I'm sorry that I had to put you in this situation so you could sell your people out or sell your soul to me.
Yeah. He been look, man, Kanye ain't been the same since his mother died.
Right.
And whether you look at her as dying or being killed, some people believe she died, some people believe
Sacrifice.
she was sacrificed. He hasn't been the same, and right now they got him. They got him mentally. They got him spiritually.
Mhm.
And so when you see him putting himself out there, you know that's not him.
No,
That's
he's going
something
to
that
a mental.
he's being told to do. If Donald Trump said, "Hey, I'm sorry that I had to put you in this position,"
Yeah,
yeah, that's something you're doing something
like a
that's
puppet.
not on your own free will. Yeah, that's not of your own free will, and it's sad to see him like that. He was just back in the city a little while ago. I guess he's trying to come back, but I don't know. I mean,
You
uh,
know what? He's still black, and I still love him as a
yeah,
black man.
yeah,
We still got to embrace him because at the end of the day, he took something and blew up. He took something, a little of something, and made something. His hobby became his fortune.
mhm.
But you got to understand, regardless if you got a global audience, the first audience you had was the Chicagoans that actually put your name out there. Yes, you did the work, you did the performing, but if it wasn't for us screaming your name, you wouldn't have been noticed. Don't think because you put hot music out there that you're gonna get signed right away. A lot of people will try to entrap you, and you sign these lifelong contracts, and that means you're a slave to them.
I think if you go back and look at his videos, man, he leave a lot of clues, especially early in his career. He dropped a lot of subliminal messages in his video, even in the Jesus Walk With Me video. In the video where the I guess him or the little girl was walking in the forest and she jumps off the cliff, and then you got that kind of demonic face that's dressed in the cloud, kind of kind of grab her. So to me, it's like him telling us that look, they're trying to get to me, or they're
Yeah,
on the verge
yeah,
of getting to me. If you look in between the lines in the imagery and the subliminalism, that's in a lot of his earlier videos, and a lot of people want him to return to his old self. But I'll never think we're gonna get that old Kanye, because as you grow, you shape yourself. Your environment tends to shape you into either the person you want to be or the
mm,
person that they're forcing you to be.
mm.
And right now, I don't know if I'm seeing the real Kanye or the Kanye that the people around him or the environment he in or the people that really got a hold of him
Right.
wants him to be.
But at the end of the day, You see all this conflict that the television and the radio and the media
Mm,
presents to you. What I'm saying as a black man that's from the hood, from the streets, that struggle, don't believe that hype. All what you see ain't real. It's staged.
mm,
It's staged for you to suck in that information.
mm,
Don't be no idiot now.
mm.
Don't follow nobody that's gonna lead you into a pit of fire.
Mm.
If that's the case, you might as well just do yourself. At least you made that decision. You know, that's why you got to get out here and vote. You got to be at the polls. If you're early voting, make sure your vote count. Make sure ain't nobody taking your they already caught some hackers. You see what's going down in Florida. 153,000 people can't vote
Wow.
because they didn't stole their votes
It's
and all of it.
always in Florida, man. Because Florida, one of them states, though.
One
But
of them states that
yeah,
does that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But there's always something going on in Florida with man.
Yeah, because you know what? It's a black man that's running for governor, and he's finna make history.
Nah, no wonder.
You see what I'm saying? So what they did is they didn't go into the white neighborhoods or the Jewish neighborhoods or the Polish neighborhoods. They went into the black neighborhoods and started messing with them people votes, and then trying to say where this zip code. I don't care where you live in America. You have a vote is a vote. Don't worry about if I'm registered. I am when I got a birth certificate, I'm registered. Don't try to count my vote before I even vote. You see what I'm saying?
About those zip codes. You said this. Look, a vote is
Yeah.
a vote.
I mean,
When
they
I
got
was
petty
in
like that.
606,
Miss Johnson can't vote over here because her she's 60647. This is 60643. Remember the churches that was giving out food, they was turning people away because of they zip code wasn't the right zip code.
What?
Yes, food pantries, bro. Was free food where people donate. You were sitting here, bro. I know because they turned me around.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Because I didn't have a zip code that was in their neighborhood. And they say, well, you can't get in and you have to go to your neighborhood and get some food.
Wow.
Are you serious? So that let me know that the aldermen, long as you feed them a little bit, they gonna keep coming back. Just like you when you see people on the L and the train, and big us for them people to get signatures because they are working $10 a sheet. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They get for every sheet they fill, they get $10. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So people out there hustling to get signatures for this alderman or this some type of public figure. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but at the end of the day, when you vote that person in, before you vote them in, you got to have a community discussion. What are your intentions of my community?
Yeah.
I want to know what my vote is all about. What are you gonna, since you got my vote, what are you gonna do for me?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna help us get our streets paved, lights,
Yeah.
library, get one of these old dead schools that's been dead for the last 15 years, open up for a recreational center? See, that's what they need to be doing. Let's go fast forward. No, yeah, fast forward. Rahm Emanuel made a statement on television about 2-3 weeks ago, and I mentioned it. He's giving $32 million to at-risk kids. It's supposed to have been 100, 200 million because
That's
it's a state fund that comes to the state.
but that's not anybody can be at risk. That's don't necessarily mean that that's gonna go to inner city kids.
Exactly, because to me that means it's going to the urban communities.
Well, at risk kids is even people at risk kids. You got to watch the way people word.
Yeah, he said he's doing
32 million at risk kids. What at risk kids?
But that's what I'm saying.
Are we talking about inner city kids, or we're talking about
Inglewood,
or we're talking about suburban? And suburban kids are at risk.
Yeah, they at risk more than ever now.
You know what I'm saying? That can mean
1,000 things.
That can mean 1,000 things.
Right.
You still don't say at-risk kids necessarily mean that that funding is going to go to
And
the
then
inner city
he
community.
had the commentators where they're gonna select communities that's heavier hit, where they're focusing on that. Well, you got the south side, you got the east side, you got the west side, you got the north side. You got pockets of ghettos everywhere. $32 million ain't gonna do too
That
much of
ain't
nothing.
nothing. That's
You know what
dropping
I'm saying?
that's a drop in the bucket.
But look how much money you made up under the table when you let certain contracts go through in these communities, and it was a community workplace where you had to hire the community. See, that's the thing. They try to X out the community, and I understand because I work both sides, the community, and I'm a union guy too. So I understand. But if you knew it like I knew it, if these guys that's union like myself really thought about, okay, we going into the hood, let's do this. While we working, let's train these young guys to they making nice money anyway, but let's train these guys how to actually do this skill so they can be hungry. Now, you ain't gonna be able to save everybody, and I know that, but you pick the ones out of that litter that you actually what they say when they did it to me, sponsor. You sponsor. If you got 20 guys, and out of the 20 guys you get 8 of them that's 100, them 8 guys, you put a lot of effort in there and you sponsor them guys to get into them trade unions, electrician, plumberry, carpentry, bricklaying, scaffold making, I don't care, painters. You get those, you cuff them. And you teach him that skill so it can be better for him. He could be quicker. He could learn. He could be able to venture off in other entities of that skill. You know what I'm saying? You grab them and you motivate them to go to this trade school, because people right now think school is just like high school, and it's not like that.
You know what? They took a lot of the trades out of the black community schools.
Right.
If you remember, if you go back in the day, I think even at DuSable, it had a car shop.
Yes.
In the basement.
Yes.
Of the school that a teacher had to work.
Engineer shop.
Engineer.
Yeah.
They took
Auto
all
shop.
of that. They took all of
Y'all
that out
didn't
of
have
the.
auto when you was there?
No, they didn't even use the. All that stuff was shut down. I don't even think that stuff been used for years.
The lights weren't even, because I remember it was a man. He had polio in the spine, and he had a curvature of the spine. I forgot his name at DuSable, but that was the last teacher that I knew that had auto body. Then we had film. What they call it, camera shop or something.
We had wood shop, but if you go back in the day, it was easy for you to get access to auto shops, plumbing, all of those trades. But they
nursing.
stripped
Remember, with DuSable was the first school to have the nursing program.
Yeah, but they stripped them from the schools and they put them out there in the white rich, and gave them access to the white rich schools and stuff like
that. Even the nursing thing, they dropped that too.
Yeah,
what about y'all? Okay, what about
none of that.
the food service? Where they had all them ovens on the first floor, they took that out too.
All that stuff was gone. It's been gone for years. Man, them garages on the side, on State Street side,
Yeah.
I ain't never seen them things up.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and that's not only at DuSable, but that was across the whole.
CVS had aviation. You remember they got the plane in the back. Then I think it was somebody else that had a house built. It was, if I'm not mistaken, not Whitney Young. It was Kenwood. They between Kenwood and Dunbar, they actually specialized in carpentry because they was actually building a house. In one of them schools, somebody was telling me that they had carpentry classes where they learn how to build and shingles, roofing, and stuff.
When we came into DuSable, when I came in there, I think it was 98, 99. They was on probation and reconstitution.
Yeah.
So we couldn't take no trips.
Nothing.
we couldn't.
They basically shared because the building. See,
books was missing pages, and we had to share books, and it was a
they
mess.
had took the. I remember that. Look, bro. I'm gonna tell you something, man. See, it's a curse and it's a blessing too.
Mhm.
Yes, I miss those buildings. Because I learned a lot,
Yeah.
but I would rather for them had tore them down building by building
Yeah.
and rebuild right back,
Yeah.
broke them down so people can see that you're uplifting us by uplifting our living stability.
Stability.
You know what I'm saying? But that whole State Street had a stronghold on Dusau, and they knew
Yeah.
they couldn't mess with that school until half the majority of them buildings was gone because they knew them black folks in them buildings was gonna protest. Not only in them buildings, but you had people that was on Princeton
Yeah.
towards Wallace. I think that was our designated line.
Mhm.
I think we was going all the way to Cottage Grove going east.
Yeah.
We go all the way to 63rd east of Cottage Grove, all the way to maybe what was the school before Dunbar? King,
Yeah.
De La Salle. You know what I'm saying? So we had that. That was the third ward on back to Bronzeville and Hyde Park. That's all of us.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But when you have people you had black folks that was on that upper echelon.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna throw that. Ever since Mayor Harold Washington died, you know, everybody that was black was actually felt for that long stretch
Mhm.
because Harold Washington made things happen.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Not just black folks, but everybody got a piece of that pie.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot of a lot of things what Daley instituted was built off the back of Harold Washington. If you look at things like Millennium Park and things like that, that was actually a plan that Harold Washington had in the 80s.
right,
So it's a tragedy to see where we're at as a community right now, but we have to do more and be more vocal in terms of the outcome of our living in our community, and that starts right now with voting. You know what I'm saying?
voting and these kids that's 18, 17 and 18. You know what I'm saying? The next wave of people will be the 18-year-olds after this vote.
Mhm.
But you might be able to vote in that what's that February election,
Okay.
whatever. But at the end of the day, you gotta love your house, start being mothers and fathers to your household, teach them the reason why we need to vote,
Yes, sir.
get them out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to shut this down. I am Ace the Real, IntellectualRadio.com.
You got your boy 100K. Mr. Let's Talk About It. You're now tuned in with another perspective on IntellectualRadio.com, one of the hottest talk shows in Chicago today. Thanks for tuning in. Have a blessed evening and enjoy.
See you next Sunday.
Don't wanna let it go. Let go. Don't wanna let you. Don't wanna let you go. Let go. Don't wanna let you. Don't wanna let you go. Let go. Let go. Let go. Don't wanna let it. Don't wanna let it go. Let go. Don't wanna let you. Don't wanna let you go. Let go. Don't wanna let you. Don't wanna let you go. Let go. Let go. I must admit, girl, I'm nervous. It's kinda hard to determine, but I don't care, girl, I'm all in, all in, all in. I stand where you can see me. No playing, girl, believe me. I mean it, I mean it. Oh. Let go, don't let it, don't let it go. Let go, don't let you, don't let it go. Let go, don't let you, don't let you go. Let go, let go. Let go, don't let it, don't let it go. Let go, don't let you, don't let it go. Let go, don't let you, don't let you go. Let go, let go. You're telling me that you're nervous. Will it last? No discernment. But you don't care, cause you all in. I'm all in. We all in. I I stand where you can see me. Through ups and downs, believe me, not moving,